Night Beat.
Hi there. This is Randy Stone. I cover the Night Beat for the Daily. Stories start in many different ways. This one began with a glass of milk and ended with a pool of blood.
Night Beat, starring Hop McGuire as Randy Stone.
It was a long, beautiful, sparkling bar with gay, exquisitely gowned women, smoothly dressed men about town, and naturally quantities of swell-looking, swell-smelling alcoholic drinks. But was I supping any of the lovely nectar? A glass of milk sat up prim and untouched before me, which, again, naturally wasn't my idea, but when you've got a blind date with a girl, you've got to have a sign, a means of recognition, which was why the milk. Signs and blind dates go together like dimples and a snub nose. Through the chest-high, barroom-style swinging doors, a long-legged blonde came swishing. She paused, looked the length of the bar, saw the glass of milk, came towards me, smiling.
You must be Randy Stone.
I wouldn't be sitting here drinking milk if I wasn't. So you're Rita Spranger?
Yes. I thought that this way I couldn't possibly miss you. You didn't mind?
Oh, no, I love sipping milk in a bar. So you're the last that's going to give me the necessary information to blow Benny the Ringer's gambling syndicate sky high, huh?
Mm-hmm. Shall we go?
Go?
Home.
Home?
My apartment. You don't mind? I don't feel disposed to talk here. Okay, Randy?
Okay, sure, okay. We grabbed a cab, went home. And home was lush tapestry and silver candlesticks and lots of ivory. Home was like visiting a Fifth Avenue story that catered for no one but millionaires. I waded through the dark green carpet, spread out luxuriously in the chair she indicated. We sipped highballs, smiled at one another. Finally, Rita Spranger said,
You're as you described yourself. Maybe a lot better looking, but the essential details were included.
Well, thank you, ma'am.
Another drink, Randy?
Sure. After that milk, I'm right in the mood. She walked across the room, rang room service, and we went back to smiling at one another politely. After an age, a little old guy appeared, dressed in shabby black, bearing the highballs like they were the national flags.
Over here, please, in front of Mr. Stone, waiter. Thanks.
Yes, madam. Anything else, madam?
Not just now, thanks.
Yes, madam.
How old is that waiter?
He's been with the hotel over 40 years. They look upon him as their good luck charm.
Now, about Benny the Ringer. You have a lot of information, stuff that you can prove?
Well, I've decided no about that.
Yeah, but you told me that...
Well, to be frank, you haven't come up to my expectations. Well, this story is so big, I just can't afford to take a chance on it. I'm sorry. I have to feel sure of the reporter that handles it.
Okay, so I didn't fit the bill. Anyway, thanks for the drinks, Miss Spranger.
I really am sorry to have inconvenienced you, Randy.
Forget it. See you around. Well, that's the way it happens sometimes. Somebody who wants to give you information changes their mind. I got out of there, went over to the office, worked on some kind of a story, then went home to bed. Sleep swirled in on me, soft and black and pleasant. And then sound suddenly crystallized into a hideous persistency. Someone had dug his finger into the hole around my doorbell, letting it bleat endlessly like an all-night disc jockey session. All right, I'm coming. I worked my eyes open, groped my way downstairs. Took a fast look at the hall clock. It lacked but 5 minutes to make it 6 a.m. Oh, no. Cops at this hour. It shouldn't happen to a dog.
Hello, Randy. Wake you up, fella?
What do you think? I thought we were buddies. Lieutenant Pete Bowman, the newspaper man's friend.
Let us in, huh? This isn't the sort of conversation I want your neighbors to get an earful of. Well, by the way, this is Sergeant Kelly, Randy Stone.
How do you do?
Aye.
Well, my guess is, Lieutenant, that you want to see me about something, or am I being psychic?
You better forget the wisecracks, Randy. The subject is murder.
Eh?
Little matter of a murdered blonde, one Rita Spranger. You knew her, I believe.
Yeah, sure. Briefly, that is.
Saw her only last night, we're told, Randy.
Early evening, she asked me to meet her at a bar.
The Flamingo Bar?
That's right, Sergeant.
Who got there first? You or Rita Spranger?
I did. I drank a couple of glasses of milk while I waited.
Milk?
Yes, milk.
More funny jokes, huh? Okay, so then what? She take you up to her apartment?
Yeah, she wanted to tell me something.
Couldn't she have told you at the Flamingo?
No, she couldn't, Sergeant. It was about Benny the Ringer, boss man of the East Side and one of the biggest racketeers in the business. She had information on him.
Spread that, fella.
Okay, Lieutenant. You see, as I told you, we met at the bar. The glass of milk was the sign for her to know who I was. We left the bar and went to an apartment. I gave the lieutenant as much as I knew, how Rita Spranger had made the appointment by phone, suggested the milk as a mark of identification, taken me home, then changed her mind. I emphasized that it wasn't so unusual an arrangement that people wanting to squeal for reasons of revenge, especially regarding a big shot like Benny the Ringer, would take steps to stay as far away from publicity as possible. The lieutenant and the sergeant looked at one another, then across at me.
Then Miss Spranger let you out of her apartment, and you went back to work, huh?
Check, Lieutenant.
You realize, Randy, that you were the last person to see Rita Spranger alive.
Early this morning, she was found dead. Shot through the head. Beaten up, too. Face badly disfigured. The desk clerk described you to us, and so did the waiter, the guy that brought you drinks. In fact, he mentioned you by name.
Her diary was full of a wonderful newspaper man she'd been running around with.
You checked around and I fitted the description, huh?
Right. Nothing concrete, of course. No accusation, just routine checking.
Oh, sure.
You got no alibi for the time in question, Randy?
Yeah, but she's dead. Look, Lieutenant, this is fantastic. A diary mentions a newsman. Well, there's hundreds of newsmen in New York.
The descriptions fit you like a glove, Mr. Stone.
Okay, Sergeant, but it could be they're mistaken. Look, a glass of milk in a bar. What better alibi could I have than that? The barman that told you I'd be there, well, he'll remember the milk. Look, nobody drinks milk in a bar, ever. Incidentally, how did you know I was at the Flamingo?
Rita Spranger had a book of matches from the Flamingo in her bag. The good Sergeant Kelly was straining his luck when he suggested you were there with her, but it happened he was right.
Yeah, wonderful coincidence.
Okay, let's look up the Flamingo barman.
Give me 5 minutes, huh, Lieutenant?
Sure.
I clambered into some tweeds, ran the electric shaver over my bristles, and then the lieutenant and I went checking my milk-drinking activities. As was to be expected, the Flamingo was shut up tighter than a Scotchman's purse. After a lot of hammering, we raised the janitor, got out of him the address of the barman that had served me. He lived way over town on Lexington Avenue and 23rd Street, a walk-up apartment. And he didn't look pleased to see us when he finally opened up to the insistent pounding of my knuckles.
All right, for Pete's sake, ease off with the knuckles, will you? I've been working all night.
You Bernie Weinberg, the barman at the Flamingo bar?
Yeah, so what?
Police homicide. You know this guy here? Ever seen him in your bar, maybe?
Now think hard, Bernie. It might be important. He squinted at me, wiped his mouth with his sleeve, pulled the lobe of his ear.
No, I can't say I have. Should I have, fella?
Early in the evening, yesterday evening, I was drinking milk.
Milk? Milk in my bar? Never you did.
Please think hard. I met a girl there, a blonde.
What is this, officer? Some kind of a reb? Drinking milk? Milk?
You're certain about this, Weinberg? Certain this man was never there?
Not drinking milk he wasn't, believe me.
But you must remember, not one customer in 10,000 would order milk. What's the matter with you, fella? You got a bad memory?
My memory's okay. I tell you, no one came into my bar drinking milk. What sort of a crazy routine is this anyway? Oh, please, officer, I got sleep to catch up on.
Okay, Weinberg, go on back to bed. Let's go, Randy.
But, Lieutenant...
Night, folks. Sorry I couldn't help you.
Come on, Randy. You and me have some talking to do.
It was crazy, fantastic as a Dali canvas. We went down to the car, drove slowly across town while I tried to convince the lieutenant that Bernie Weinberg was the barman that had served me milk. That in some way I was being caught up in a diabolical frame-up, being fitted with a murder rap that strained all of one's credibility. Finally, he saw it my way, agreed to play along a little further with me, probably figuring that the department owed me a couple of breaks anyway. We went visiting David Spranger, the dead woman's husband, from whom she'd been separated, and who, incidentally, was due to collect a lot of money that his wife had recently inherited from an uncle. Only trouble was that the guy had alibis. 6 alibis for last night. He'd been playing poker with the boys. He was in to our insistent knocking.
Yeah.
Police, Homicide Division. I'd like to ask you a few questions.
Again? Look, you guys were here a couple of hours back.
Double check, routine. Okay to come in?
Oh, okay, I guess so.
Thanks, Mr. Spranger. Nice place you got.
Yeah. Now, what was it you wanted to know?
About your wife. How long was the...
Darling, are you ready to... Oh,
Lieutenant! My mouth dropped open and stayed that way. The hairs on the back of my neck quivered. The blonde who had just come through the door of a bedroom was a blonde I knew. A blonde I knew extremely well. So well that I was suspected of murdering her. Rita Spranger.
You are listening to Night Beat. Before Randy Stone continues his story, here is your announcer. This is Night Beat. Randy Stone continues his story.
I gaped foolishly at the hard-used blonde who should be in a city morgue, and she gaped at me. The atmosphere in the room became charged with an electric tension. Finally, I managed to swallow hello, and it broke up the tension. She licked her lips nervously, half smiled.
sorry, David. I didn't realize you had company.
Well, speaking for myself, Spranger, don't worry about your lady friend interrupting. We've met before. Haven't we, lady?
I'm afraid I don't remember.
Now, see here, copper. What's going on around here?
Yes, who do you think you're talking to?
Oh, please, save me the corny theatricals, lady. I know you, and sure as shooting, you know me. You should, anyway. You're trying your level best to put me in the hot seat.
Hey, what gives around here? Randy?
Well, that's kind of a ticklish question, Lieutenant. This is just about the craziest setup ever.
Say, who is this lieutenant?
He looks like an escapee from an asylum. That the best you can do as policeman lately, Lieutenant?
Save it, lady. You too, mister. Okay. Spread it out, Randy.
Simple. Rita Spranger, at least the Rita Spranger I know as Rita Spranger, isn't dead.
What? Say that again.
She's right here in this room with us.
You mean this was the woman you met at the Flamingo bar, huh, Randy? The one that took you up to her apartment?
I don't know this character from a bar of soap, Lieutenant, and will you please get him out of here?
That's her, Lieutenant. This is one great big act she's putting on for your benefit. Just who are you, anyway, mystery woman?
She's a very dear friend of mine, Joan Parker. We've been friends ever since... Well, ever since Rita and I split up. I hope to marry her now that now that Rita's gone.
Can't you see how poor David is? What are you anyway? Callous boots without a spark of human decency?
Look, do me a favor, will you, Lieutenant? Take this woman out of the apartment for a minute. I want to talk to David Spranger.
Me out of the apartment? Me? I like your nerve, mister.
Will you please do that for me, Lieutenant? Things are beginning to drop into place. A little sanity is peeking through the crazy mix-up. Just let me talk to this guy alone.
You shut your mouth, mister. David, get him out of the way from me. I don't care who they are. Get him out of here.
The lieutenant looked at Joan Parker, alias Rita Spranger, looked good and hard. And what he saw made him nod me an okay, take her firmly by the arm, propel her to the door. All of a sudden, she looked exactly what she was. A scheming, hard-used female with about as much mercy in her makeup as a cornered rattlesnake.
Don't you dare catch me! You let go of me! Let go of me, I say!
David Spranger was a big, dark, sullen guy in his mid-30s. Blue, bright eyes challenged me from beneath sardonic eyebrows. High up in his temple, a nerve twitched away busily like a jackhammer. He could be in a lot of trouble, but then again, some of these big guys crack surprisingly easily. He moved to an armchair, lit up a cigarette.
You're no copper, fella.
That's right, Spranger.
And you got your nerve having your copper friend take Joan out of here.
Yeah.
Well, okay, we're alone just like you wanted, so... Come on, what's the beef?
Well, that's one heck of a question, Spranger. What's the beef? And you trying to frame me into a murder rap?
Look, mister, I don't know who you are, what your angle is, or why the heck I'm listening to you in the first place. You talk a line of insulting double talk, seem to have an in with the law, and all in all make about as much sense as a moronic drunk.
Just sit there and listen a minute, Spranger. Save the witty dialogue for the girls. Me, I can do without it. They tell me your wife was coming into a big inheritance. That right?
I wouldn't know.
Oh, no, of course you wouldn't know. But they also tell me that you would become the beneficiary, naturally, in the event of your wife's death.
Look, fella, you implying
Am
that
I implying that you worked towards that end? That you murdered your wife because of the money she was due to inherit? You bet your sweet life I am, Spranger.
Did you ever hear of the law of slander? I don't have to sit here and listen to that sort of talk from anyone.
You'll listen and you'll like it. Nobody would have stayed with it this long if they had any alternative. Anybody as innocent as you claim to be would have thrown me out of the place a half hour back. You want to see just how much I know, Spranger. You want to know whether or not I've got this thing sewn up tight enough to pin it back where it belongs.
All right. All right, I'll play along. You want to play games, okay?
Okay. You wanted the money? You wanted it fast. For you and the blonde to share, I guess.
Go on, I'm still listening.
You found out your wife was running around with a newspaper man. Then you looked around for another newspaper man you could frame. I fitted the bill.
You? I don't even know who you are.
No, not much you don't, Spranger. Not much you don't. Okay. So you figured, as I am always on the hunt for a story, I'd be willing to meet a mysterious lady in a bar, particularly willing if you dangled a bait in front of me like the inside dope on Benny the Ringer.
Go on. Go on, keep going. You're killing me. Go on, keep talking, keep talking.
I intend to, Spranger, believe me. You arranged the phony setup at the Flamingo, with me ordering the milk, and that was a beautiful touch, too, having Weinberg, the barman, swear that no one had ordered milk at his bar within his memory. That made me out to be just that much of a liar to the police. Then your girlfriend, posing as your wife, met me, took me up to your wife's apartment. Probably your wife was already dead by that time. You were waiting to get me into the trap, make sure that I was seen by the desk clerk.
Ah, that's where your little fairy story trips up, fella. The desk clerk knew my wife. How could Joan get away with...
I'll tell you how. I remember she kept her head away from the desk clerk. The guy was told later that it was Mrs. Spranger, and he naturally assumed he had seen her with me.
And the drink waiter, the old guy who served you both drinks? What about...
Spranger stopped speaking. His face went ash white, and a tiny nerve in his forehead hammered away. I had him, and he knew that I had him. He licked his lips, attempted to grin. There came out a sickly leer. I got you, Spranger. I got you.
Got me? Why, look, fellow, what do you mean? You got me.
How would you have known about the waiter? Specifically, how would you have known about the waiter being an old guy? Huh, Spranger? How would you know that?
Why, well, the police, during their questioning, don't you see it came out during the general talk?
Not if
about
I
it.
know anything about police methods of questioning, it didn't. However, Mr. Spranger, we can easily check Lieutenant Bowman on that point. I turned to the door, stepped towards it.
Why, you dirty little...
I heard Spranger's yell and I swung around. He was coming in low, both arms swinging ape-like. I let go with a right that scraped his jaw. Spranger shoved a right to my middle, followed with a left swing that bounced off my right ear like a projectile from a bazooka. I grunted. I weaved away towards the center of the room. I slammed a couple into his middle. I felt him waver, so I gave him a pile driver that came all the way from the carpet to the point of his chin. Spranger teetered backwards, slammed against the wall. He sank downwards gracefully. His interest in general proceedings cut down to absolute zero. I made it to the window, leaned well out, breathing the good, clean air. Bowman saw me from the sidewalk, and I signaled him up. It was all over but the shouting. I was out from under. I wasn't the fall guy for a coldly calculated murder. I loved the taste of the good free air. Later, much later, after Lieutenant Bowman and Sergeant Kelly had obtained signed statements from David Spranger and Joan Parker, after they had them locked away nice and cozy in their respective cells, together with Bernie Weinberg, the barman at the Flamingo, for his part in the murder scheme, after, in fact, the whole crazy case was sewn up, the lieutenant and I tied up the ends for our own personal satisfaction.
So, the department owes you an apology, huh, Randy? For suspecting you of murder.
Well, we'll forget it, huh? Let's just chalk it up to experience. I got one swell story out of it, so we'll call it quits.
Hey. You know, one thing threw me. How the old waiter that served you drinks failed to recognize the fact that the woman in the apartment wasn't Rita Spranger.
Oh, brother, but he was really old, practically blind to all intents and purposes. You see, to him, almost any blonde would have looked like Rita Spranger.
Yeah, the whole thing was well planned, even down to the matches in the bag. Why, if you hadn't told us which bar you were at, it would have provided the clue.
Check. The newsman angle, too.
The guy in the diary?
Yeah. Turned out to be a rewrite man for the Globe, one of Rita's many boyfriends. Oh, and brother, does he hate the publicity he's been getting.
The price to pay for running around with a married woman.
Ah, but he didn't know that, poor guy. Well, I guess occasionally innocent people get hurt in the jungle of the big city.
Nearly happened to you, Randy boy.
Would have if I'd been assigned a cop with less imagination than you. You know, to question me as to whereabouts and alibis.
I'll tell Kelly that one. He'll love it.
You just run along and do that, Lieutenant. I've got a column to write. All about justice in a big city and the need to caution before accepting evidence. Especially for murder.
Ooh, some mouthful. Okay. See you, Randy.
Yeah. So long, Lieutenant. I wrote it all up. Wrote it up big. About the lengths people will go to obtain money and the good that it does them in the end. About a barman with a bad memory, a crazy story about going into a bar to drink milk, and a cold-killing blonde and her equally vicious boyfriend. What a concoctions. Small wonder the guys that study social trends and conditions inform us that we're all in a rat race to Bedlam. You know, maybe they've got something. But you know something else? On this night beat assignment, I meet some awfully nice people, too. Copy, boy.
Night Beat, a dramatic series, stars Hart Maguire as Randy Stone and is a Grace Gibson radio production directed by Lawrence H. Cecil. Others in the cast were Sheila Searle, Lloyd Burrell, Richard Ashley, Jerry Wells, and Ron Roberts. Listen next week, same time, same station, when again you will hear Randy Stone in another action-packed story of Night Beat.